The Zermattens were still going well in their Nissan hardbody and nailing some of the slower traffic on the way, screamer blaring their coming. Unheralded Ramon Besaidnout and co-driver Stefan Locke in a Toyota were shooting up the position log, and all of a sudden they were leading Class D after starting 39th. The deploys Chris and Christian's orange and black livery drew an eye or two, and so did their early driving. They'd started off in 56th place and passed a lot of teams, with Brian Martin and Oki Fourie applying pressure in their Castrol Toyota, and Thomas Rundle and Brian Roberts in the Baden Tyres Nissan following suit. An early altercation with a very firm object left Mark de Schlein and Alistair Stubbs' Viper going sideways, and they knew they were beaten.
Yes.
You guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
You're right.
Yeah.
What did you do this time?
We were caught out by two jumps, and the first one set us up badly. We ended up hitting a hole in the second one, and we did a good bend to the beam on the front of the car. So unfortunately, that's that.
That's off-road racing. Lothar and Owen Rocha were very impressive in their Sandmaster and rode a super fast first lap to overtake a whole bunch of cars. They'd made up 20 places and were still climbing. While Klaus and Fritz Etzel were leading the way for Class E racers Jack Peckham and Lucio Santora in their factory Ford Racing Ranger. Richard Everingham was going well on his own-some lonesome, with another single-seater racer Gary Campbell just happy to see our cameras. He was obviously very lonely. Back at the designated service point stop after one flat-out loop, it was the Atlas Copco of the Harpers back first, with a gap of about 2 minutes over Shamir Borayawa, but there was some serious drama for the leaders in the Castrol Toyota Hilux of Bevan Berthold and Robin Houghton. They stormed home, but just meters from the pits, a ball joint broke. As it was, the engine had overheated after the radiator grids had got clogged. Berthold was still confident, though, at that stage.
Yeah, it's been very nice. It's been the first time we've been able to pass a Nissan outright and then lead for a whole lap. And unfortunately, looks like a ball joint may have broken, so they're just going to replace that. And we got a lot of grass from following so close to Hannes for quite a long time. So the engine's got a bit hot, so maybe we can get it going again, just try to get a finish. But we're developing, we're on the right road, and I think with a new car, we'll be able to fight these guys nicely now.
For the other crews, there was a lot of heartache and repair work to be done. Some had overheated due to mud getting into engines. Others hit a few trees that jumped out at them, and in Mark Corbett's case, well, there was a mechanical, and the wipers wouldn't listen either.
Oh, so hard. Can you bend them over? Can you not touch them to bend over the arm? Yes, you can. Yeah, it's always so deep in there. Yeah, we've had a few electronic problems with the car. It wouldn't start. We stalled it once, and then once the power just cut. But I think we've got it sorted out now. We should be off quite soon. And then unfortunately the windscreen wipers failed, and there was a whole lot of mud all over the windscreen. I was chasing Brandon, and I didn't see his brake lights, so we bumped him out the way, which I'm sure he won't be pleased about. But other than that, it was going quite well.
Only an off-road racer could have been able to say that. In the Ford camp, Manfred Schroeder was his normal, quiet, effective self.
It's not too bad. This morning, unfortunately, we wrong slotted, and as I turned around, the motor cut again. And we've got a brand new start, a brand new battery in there, but it didn't want to start. So we had to wait for Jack to come, and then he towed us and got going again. And then the last about 40 k's, we broke a front drive shaft. Yeah, so we have to replace that.
And replace it they did. The life of a mechanic in the middle of the African bush on a Saturday afternoon. Back out on the road, though, and Nick and son Ryan Harper were enjoying only their second outing in the Atlas Copco. They'd gotten used to it pretty quickly. with Variawa and Rousseau really putting pedal to the metal in an earnest effort to catch the flying turquoise car. Grobler and Jordan were third overall, but leading the production and SP class by more than 3 minutes. However, they were also suffering from overheating problems. And there were clearly no team orders as the Norwegian mountaineer Tollefsen and Evans were chasing as hard as they could in second. Harkis was travelling much lighter after Corbett had got rid of the back half of his car. He was up into third after being 11th at the start of the day, with Fawcett Pitchford battling a balky starter motor, hanging on to fourth after slowing down a little. The evergreen and steady Schilling was doing his usual act, go hard and hang on, and was still leading Class S like he had been from the get-go. And in Class A, Clint Gibson and Mike Brown were up into third place all the way from 7th. The absolute bat was still sounding great. Alberts and Hunter were on their way to a fast clocking in the second lap, which got them ever closer to the top 3. That's what they were shooting for. Gillingham and Van Vieren wrong slotted here, but they were still putting together a fine lap. However, the wrong slot cost them a place to the Flying White Brothers. The Cries, who impressed so much last year, had moved up 6 places and were leading Class B in their bat. The father and son combination had picked up where they left off in 06. The De Bruins, Hichu and Jaap and their McLaren XL Toyota could not believe their SP speed, but mechanical failure would put paid to their efforts. While the Adenko bat of Pez Besaidnout and Johan de Bruin was solid in 10th in the space frame race and second in Class B. But the dust was starting to get up everyone's nose. The Etzels were still going well in their bat, but would have their own problems soon enough, as did many of the field. By now, 30% had called it quits already. Roacon's George and Sharon Parkhuizen were leading Class E by a huge margin of 20 minutes and still pulling away. The Toyota was in fine shape.